Hello my gorgeous makeup loving friends, I hope you are having a fantastic day and a great start to your weekend. My name is Teresa and I love all things makeup, beauty and skincare. So on the weekends I like to hang out with you guys and talk about the newest releases in that category. But I do have a little announcement. I'm not going to be around for the next 2 weekends. I know this is conference season, and as some of you guys might know, my primary job is as a lecturer and my secondary job is as a practicing psychologist. So I will be away. I'm not around. Ooh, what happened there? I'm not around. I won't be around to film, won't be around to edit. So there's going to be no releases and rants for the next 2 weekends and no swatching Sundays. There'll be no swatching Sundays actually this week and none for the next 2 weeks. But yeah, just quick announcement in case you guys are wondering. I know you'll be jonesing for it, but like, it is what it is. Anyways, let's continue on as we normally would. I do have people to thank for tagging me, DMing me, letting me know about all of the newest releases that you guys wanted me to talk about. Your names are being displayed right now. I so appreciate it. You are fantastic. A massive thank you to my YouTube community members. You guys know the drill. You're pretty cool, pretty tippity top, all of that sort of thing. I am going to make sure that I'm going to do a live with you guys again soon after the conferences are all over, let you guys know how it all went, all that sort of jazz. But now I have to remind you, as is my weekly duty, to hydrate, because it's very important for the skin. You can tell how stressed out I am because my skin has erupted. But look at the mug du jour. It is a rabbit's or babbit's, depending upon how you look at life, and they're so cute. So get yourself your tea, your coffee, whatever your beverage of choice is, and some snickety snacks, and we'll get straight on into it. So this one I think is quite interesting in that not that long ago it felt as though Beauty Bay had a lot of people in a bit of a chokehold. They had dominated the beauty world, and now it feels like they are just not commanding the same amount of attention, because they came out with their Botanical palettes today. Well, today is a Thursday, so as you're watching it, it's like old news in beauty terms, but it is what it is. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, Teresa, was there not a Botanical palette before? Yes, there was, and it was limited edition. And actually, these two new palettes, a 42 pan for €31 and a 16 pan for €19, have a lot of the same shades, but there's some new ones in there as well. But I put it over on YouTube today, just in the community tab, to be like, hey, in case you wanted to know, it's here, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people are like, yeah, I'm all right. I'm totally fine. Can I just say, I feel like we've all moved on from the completionist, collectionist thing. Like, I'm still a collectionist, but even I'm sitting here being like, I think I'm all right. I think I'll be okay. Let's talk about that 42 pound palette. I mean, it's vegan, it's cruelty free, but as I said, if you have the existing Botanical palette, you are going to have a lot of crossover with the existing one and this new one. Like, it's a bit unnecessary. And I also feel like if you combine that with, for instance, their earthy palette and a few of their neutral palettes, etc., do you really need it? Do you know what I mean? And I love a good eyeshadow palette, and it's not me sitting here being like, oh my god, Beauty Bay don't do a good eyeshadow formula. They do an excellent eyeshadow formula, particularly when you think about the price. Like, I'm not going to give out to them about that. There's nothing about this that I'm like, this is new, this is interesting. They dabbled around with like some duochrome things a while ago, but we haven't really seen anything like that here. It looked like there were a few that might be that way, but when I was looking through the descriptions, it's all like mattes and shimmers and some bits that have like flecks, which I was like, okay, so nothing like mind-blowing essentially. Don't get me wrong, price tag is good, but 42 pounds. Did we need to have 42 pounds? And I'm saying this as somebody who like loves a uniformity of palettes. I love when a brand has like all palettes the same sort of size, etc. I love that, but I'm looking at this kind of going, did you need to do that? Could you not have actually just brought back the previous Botanical and been like, hey, due to popular demand, it came back? Like, there's a lot of this that feels very redundant and kind of repetitive. It's not even necessarily that the colours could dupe each other. I can see that there's slight tonal differences, but if I'm 100% honest, by the time they got onto my eye, I feel like there'd be very little difference when it comes to them. Like, I mean, there's shades there that do look extremely similar. Do you know what I mean? Like peppermint and evergreen. I can see slight tonal differences, but again, by the time it gets onto the eye, I feel like it's going to be so minimal that I feel like they got it right the first time. You know, they didn't need a 42 pound palette. If, however, you're thinking to yourself, hey, you know, I missed out on the Botanical the first time around, this might be one for me. I'm not gonna, you know, yuck your yum or anything like that. like, I'm all for it. What bugs me about Beauty Bay, and I say this all the time, there's a £42 palette and they couldn't even be bothered to swatch all of them. They're like, here's 13 shades, and I'm like, you haven't even swatched a third of that. A third. That's a failing grade. Like, that's crazy to me. That being said, they look nice, swatched. I'm not going to give out about it. I personally feel like if you missed out on the first one, maybe the 16 pan is the way to go, and at least they actually swatched a whole lot out of that. It does give slightly different vibes. Like, obviously the larger 42 pan palette has kind of more tones of warmth in there, of the corals, that you don't have in the smaller palette. The smaller palette feels a lot more cool toned, like piney, etc. It's pretty, don't get me wrong. I'm not like, I love a green palette, right? I haven't had like some sort of a complete change in my personality. I love a green palette and I think this is very nice. However, I know in my heart of hearts, if I am being 100% honest with myself, this is not something that I need. I know it, right? I have way too much makeup, way more makeup than any one normal human being needs. I'll still go off and get more because I'm stupid. But this one I feel actually really comfortable being like, I'm okay. And like I said, this kind of dropped and I feel like nobody was really paying it a lot of attention. Like, I remember the time of like the berries, the earthy, blah, blah, blah. Everyone was losing their minds, myself included. I was like full on hyperventilating. And now this is coming out and I'm like, I feel like they just haven't evolved enough and they're really depending on their eyeshadow palettes to be the thing. But there's a lot of brands out there now that are very competitively priced but are coming out with some really interesting colour stories and some really great formulas. I mean, look at the likes of Cosmic Brushes, Artitude Cosmetics, Gloss Gods, right? They're very competitively priced and you get some genuinely interesting colour stories and some interesting formulas there. I don't think like the low cost is necessarily going to be the thing that catches people anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, maybe a few years ago I'd have been really into this. I also feel like, particularly the 16 pan palette, it reminds me of the Melt, is it the Gemini or the Melt, you know the Melt palette that I'm talking about. Was it the Smoke Sessions? Smoke Sessions, that's the one. It reminds me of the Melt Smoke Sessions, which is kind of interesting. Just goes to show there's only so many colour stories that you can actually have. So maybe like have a little rummage through your collection. Neither of these are for me. I actually refrained and I think I'm going to continue to refrain. It's not that I'm on a low buy or a no buy or anything like that, but I'm trying to be a little bit more conscious about the things that I'm getting. And this just isn't one of them. So yay me. This episode, and I'm so sorry, I'm going to apologise for this right now. There is so much Sephora, because I don't know who is running the show over there, but they just basically went, we have a whole bunch of items, let us just fuck them out right now. I can't think of any other way to say it, but there's a lot of stuff. It's all Sephora collection, so it's very affordable, but there's a lot to it. I'm going to go through it product by product because, quite frankly, that's the only way that I can think of doing it. So for the first one that we're talking about, it's the Colourful Blush and Highlighter Glaze. Yeah, and there's 5 shades of those. They're $14 each and they're 3.5 grams of product in that. It's a blush and highlighter hybrid that has a one-stroke colour payoff for a light reflecting glazed effect. I mean, does it remind anybody else of anything? Like, I get it. I know we're into like this whole duping culture or whatever, but there's something about this that really, really reminds me of Odin's Eye. Like, it's quite unusual. They say the iconic blush now comes in an ultra-luminous multi-dimensional formula that combines the pigmentation of a blush with the pearlescence of a luminizer. There's also something very rare beauty about that. The silky smooth powder floats over skin seamlessly. That's a really weird image, leaving behind a luxurious long wearing finish and a soft focus, streak free radiance. Look, I mean, the price tag isn't bad. It's $14, 3.5 grams of product. It's grand. I will say they don't all look fantastic on, if we're like, I'm going to be honest, because whatever, this is my channel, I can do what I want, but I personally feel like they don't look fantastic on everyone, and that's just how how it is. Definitely because it's a cheaper formula, I'd say whatever ingredients they have on that, it's given like that weird flashback. Like the shade Morning Glaze on the deeper skin tone, it unfortunately reads as really, really ashy. And this is something you see with brands a lot, that they just don't cater towards deeper skin tones. And like even with the models that they have included, there's not that many models who have a very deep skin tone, which is very strange because Sephora has the money. They have the money to be hiring the models, so I don't know what they're doing. It's strange. Like, the shades are fine. They're grand. I guess this would be good for people who are like, I don't know, like making a makeup kit or something for themselves. Like the quality of their stuff isn't bad. I have one or two little Sephora bits that I've got along the years and they're not bad at all. Like the shade Pink Sunset, I think that looks pretty nice. I'm thinking about like my skin tone because that's the skin that I'm in and I feel like it would work for me. It does pull a little bit ashier on deep skin tones, I think. So I feel like you'd kind of be taking a bit of a chance there. And even there with Morning Glaze on the deeper skin tone, it just, I don't know, I feel this is where we have a lot of issues around who's doing the formulation and who's testing these particular products. Because I'm wondering how many people of colour do they have working in these departments in the product development, because it doesn't feel wildly inclusive. Do you know what I mean? I'd love to know the stats breakdown there as to what's happening. But yeah, it doesn't pull the best. Then even Sunrise, that's grand. It's fine. You know, I can see the highlighter-y bit. The shade Moon O'Clock, I will say that does pull a little bit better on the deeper skin. So at least that's something. I think that, I mean, if that one hadn't worked, I'd have been like, what's going on here? Because like that sort of a shade generally looks really nice on a deeper skin tone. And Golden Hour, I personally don't think that they needed this along with Sunrise. Do you know what I mean? Like they could have gone with maybe Golden Hour instead of Sunrise. Because like if you're a fairer skin tone, just take less product, like, you know, you'll be grand. It's fine. Do you know what I mean? Like it's grand is all I can say. Price point, pretty good. The amount of product you're getting for it, pretty good. I mean, you're getting 3.5 grams for $14. So that's like, I mean, fast math, that's like, what? $4 per gram or something like that. It's grand. Like, I'm not gonna bitch about that. But it's the inclusivity of the shades. It feels really, really strange to me, as if they really haven't gone through a lot of product development or haven't consulted with different populations on this. And as I said, with a big brand like Sephora that has branches all over the world, like we're not just talking about like Sephora US, there's Sephora UK and France and Germany and Sweden, etc. Like, how, it's just a bit strange. It's a bit strange. And I get a bit annoyed when they're like, here's a few shades, we plan on doing some extensions later. Then have it so there's at least like 2 shades per kind of skin range, at least starting, so that you're not leaving people out. I don't know, maybe I'm just being whatever, and I realise I'm the colour of my wall. Like, I'm frighteningly white, so it feels weird for me to say that. You know, it's very like white savior and whatever, but I don't know, why are we still having this conversation? Like, I thought we were past this. I don't understand it. Anyways, I don't want to talk about that anymore because there is, unfortunately, still more Sephora stuff. And they went, hey, wasn't just enough blush, here's some more. This is their blush. No, I'm not having a stroke. It's called Blush Cream and Powder Palette. Does that remind you of anything? Does it? Like, I feel like Patrick Starr is probably just like twitching away, being like, that's my stuff. Get away from one size. It is just me, because it feels very much like that. There's 4 different styles or shades. You get 7.7 mils of product in it and it's $18. They say it's a trio of blushes with 3 different textures. Does that remind you of anything? And finishes that can be layered and transformed for a multitude of possibilities. I mean, not really a multitude, but okay, fair enough. This cheek palette lets you create infinite blush looks by combining or layering them in any order. The palette contains a trio of highly pigmented monochromatic formulas, a cream blush with a radiant finish, an intense matte blush, and a shimmery powder with a pearly effect. It's pocket-sized, and I do like the fact that the mirror that comes with it is removable. I personally love that because because I'm clumsy AF and I will manage to break that sort of thing. Yeah, like even, maybe it's just me. I know that they have like the little imprint in there that is like Sephora, but if you look at it really quickly, it almost looks like some of the imprints that they put on one size. Or is it, am I reading too much into it? Have I lost my mind? I feel like I have. But even the shades they've picked, I would love to see a side-by-side comparison with these. Again, I want to make this really clear. It's not a dupe of formula. There's going to be very different ingredients, etc. used, but you can see that they've taken direct inspiration from one size, which, you know, fair enough. Sometimes people want to have that sort of thing, but they can't quite get to that price tag. And I think that Sephora do decent bits. Now here, I will say, at least you have like a deeper skin tone here, like a deeper palette for a deeper skin tone. So you know what? This, I feel like they've executed better than that kind of hybrid blush thing that they had. So I don't hate it. Don't hate it. And I feel like the price tag isn't bad at all. Like even when you look at it on the models, this, in my mind, is streets ahead of the other. Maybe it's just me. Feel free to disagree. But I feel like this is streets ahead. It looks so much better on the models. So much better. And like they said, oh, it gives you loads of options. Yeah. So why would I get the single that you just were trying to sell me there when I could get this? And they're not that different in price. You know, like, I feel like they did not think this through. They just went, here, take it all. Enjoy. Like, cool. Like Candy Lover, I think that looks beautiful. I love those sort of tones. I know, it's basic AF. But you know what? I'm a pale bee and pinks look nice on me, okay? Does it look like I've just had a smack in the face? Maybe. It looks so pretty. I'd like to swatch that. I want to see what the textures are like, but it looks beautiful even on the face. Sunset Chaser, like even the tones they've gone for are very similar to the previous ones. Like they have their pinks, they have their oranges, they even have that lovely deep shade in here of Deal Closer. Like that's beautiful. And look at it on the deeper skinned model. Oh my god, I mean she's gorgeous anyways, but it really does. It pulls way more radiant. I think maybe I'm a bit, because my skin can be quite textured, so I look at powder products and I get a bit like, oh god, it's got to catch in the places that I don't want it to catch. And I feel like a cream product, I tend to be a bit more like, we will get on, we will be okay. And even the shade Heartbreaker, that looks really, really pretty. And like that red blush, I know it looks really intimidating, but generally they look really nice. I actually think this one is pretty good. I mean, granted, it's that whole like dupe culture, whatever. I don't even want to get into that, whatever. Like, it's all the same thing. There's only so many ideas that can be had, etc. Let's make these things accessible. This was done so much better than the other one. It's like, you don't need to give us 50 million things. Like, give us a few things done very, very well. You know? That being said though, I mean, there's always something to be said for like diversity of options. Like my lovely friend Sue actually said that recently, of like diversity of options, diversity of formulas, etc. So I think I also need to recognize that just because it's not for me doesn't mean that it won't be for somebody else. I need to get better at that perspective taking. But you know what? I like this one. I think that's quite a smart one. And they've also done this, some instant bronzing drops, because everyone and their mother has done this at this point. You get 30 mils of product. It's $14. It's essentially a serum. Of course, they're saying this is formulated for normal, dry, combination and oily. To be fair though, with bronzing serums, yeah, you can kind of get away with them. Now I'm going to say this, the highlighted ingredients are chlorella. And when I read that first, my eyes skipped over it really quickly and I thought it said cholera. And I was like, why would there be cholera in that? There is not. It's chlorella, which I don't know what that is. More clever people than me will tell you. I know psychology. That's about it. It's vegan, gluten-free, cruelty-free, and it comes in recyclable packaging. And of course they're like, hey, why don't you try and use it with our moisturizer? Cool. You know what? I don't dislike this. Like I said, it's another option out there. I do feel it probably pulls a little bit too yellowy, but that can kind of happen with bronzing drops anyway. They kind of really go for gold. Now, though I will say, I have like bronzing drops, the niacinamide ones from Glow Recipe. I like them. It makes it look like I'm actually a human being. So I don't hate it. I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing. I think it's a decent product at a decent price. I mean, $14 for 30 mils. I don't hate this. It's the correct time to come out with it as well, coming into summer. So you know what? Fair enough. Yeah, grand. But they didn't stop. You're going to think, Teresa, surely the Sephora rant is it? No, it's still going. It will never end. We're going to be here until next week. I'll be in the conference still like trying to tell you about all of this. Oh, they have their totally juicy lip tints. And there's 9 shades, 9. And a lot of them look similar. 5.5 mils for $14. It's a stain lip plumper. I'm not even going to tell you how I feel about lip plumpers. Watch last week's episode. I'm not repeating myself again. I'm annoying. I don't need to hear that. 12 hours of juicy hydration and long-lasting tinted lips. Cool, grand, but why are they plump? Just why? It's free of parabens, formaldehydes, all that sort of thing, you know, no mineral oil, all the general things, vegan, cruelty-free, recyclable packaging. Grand. Here's what I have to say. A lot of these shades look quite similar. Like, how do you come out with 9 shades and have them all be tonally very, very similar? They're all in the very pinky family. Like, how are there no, like, brownie shades? There's, like, one slightly brown, but it leans very purpley. How are they all very reddish? Because you can get more brownie lip tints. Like, you absolutely can. Sephora does some. So I don't understand what's happening here. It feels like there's too much, but simultaneously not enough. Do you know what I mean? Like, where's the rest of them? Like, even going through them, right? I'm gonna quickly go through them. Look at grapes for dessert. I mean, it looks nice. Although, who's eating grapes for dessert? Have a bar of chocolate. Is it just me, or does it look very similar to maple glaze? I wouldn't be able to distinguish between it. Maybe I'm a bit stupid. Now, you do see there's a difference then when you look at things like sweet jelly, which I will say is probably not the most flattering one. Then we have tangerine twist, which is a lot more red than it is orange, but there you go. But you see, we're back in then to cranberry fizz, which is very similar to the first two. And then we go into pink sorbet, again, kind of similar. And then pink sorbet goes into summer slushy. And summer slushy is like a mixture between pink sorbet and that sweet jelly. It's like a really weird love child. Then we have rose syrup. Do you see what I mean? Like, there's a lot of these that look quite similar on the lips. And then this is the darkest one, Mocha Crush, which I do think actually looks gorgeous. I think they should have done some darker tints or some more neutral tints. But in general, this feels like kind of strange. And we have a lot of options for lip tints. There's quite a few like affordable brands that do lip tints, so it feels a bit odd that they're coming to this quite late. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of stuff. And also, I don't know, the way that they've numbered them is very strange. Like, Mocha Crush is 12, but there's only 9 shades. What happened? There's a story behind that. Yeah, in the nicest way possible. Don't care. But Sephora are like, here, just something must land. They're throwing stuff at us and going, here, take some of it, please. And I'm going to blame Milk Makeup for this next one, because this is Sephora's, that's right, it's not ending, Color Twister Color Changing Oil in Stick for Lip and Cheek. And it's sort of like a jelly sort of a formula. You know, terrible, absolutely terrible. There's 3 shades, 8.5 grams, $12. I don't even know what to say. They say this one-of-a-kind stick shifts color before your eyes. Is it really one of a kind? Is it? Because we've seen things like this before. Yellow turns into juicy coral. Colour theory, lad. Fuchsia becomes fresh pink and midnight blue morphs into a soft berry. It's colour theory. And it's that weird jelly formula. Made of 90% oils, the light jelly texture melts in like second skin. Ugh, the texture of that. I'm not putting jelly stuff onto my skin. Absolutely not. Like I said, I 100% blame Milk Makeup for that. And I blame all of the people who were like, oh my god, look at this, it's the whole thing. And they were like, oh, do I eat it? No, to put it onto your face. You're clearly not meant to eat it. Why does this have to come with instructions for you to understand how to do this? Like, it's a bit ridiculous. I get that, you know, there's only so many things that you can do in makeup, but there has to come a point, surely, where, you know, you realise that maybe things are formulated in a certain way and available in a certain modality because it makes sense. You know, maybe other things haven't been tried because they're foolish in the way that this is foolish. And it's also, I know they're not saying like it's pH or anything, but like there's something about it that makes me think pH nonsense. And you know how I feel about that, guys. It's just very annoying for me. Like, it looks okay on, but I saw so much with the milk jelly stick things of people really struggling to blend those out. And let's be real, the biggest indicator was I didn't see people using them after the initial thing, and nobody was getting super excited about the shade extension either. So it doesn't look fabulous on the skin. Like, it looks okay, but like if there's a bunch of oils in it, Jesus, like they really went blush heavy on like a few of the models. Like no. Sheer to buildable coverage. They've really just shown us the buildable. Like, it looks heavy on quite a few of them. I don't know how I feel. No, I do know how I feel. I don't like this. I think this is foolish. Like, maybe I'm just old-fashioned. I want to be able to put my makeup on with brushes, and this sort of stuff makes it very difficult. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like change, and this freaks me out. And also, like I've said a million times before, I have a big thing about texture, and this sort of thing, like the idea of that on my face makes me want to cry. And I will say, even that shade Bizarre Berry, on some of the skin tones, it does, you can actually see the blue. Like, it is not great. We don't have to dupe everything. We don't have to copy everything. Some ideas just went viral because they had some good ad campaigns and they had some people in their, I don't want to say people in their pocket, because I've no evidence for that. It's just a conspiracy. But you know, we all have critical thinking skills. They were all saying the same thing. And as somebody who's like gotten ad campaigns before, they'll give you talking points of like what it is that they want you to say. But you have to say that it's an ad, but some of them don't. Anyways, that's not the point. I get that they're trying to emulate this because it was such a viral thing, but it wasn't viral because it was like a good product. It was viral because it was different. And different doesn't necessarily mean good. Said the autistic. Oh, it's like a really weird thing to say. Yeah, no, absolutely not. No. Like, how many of these are like absolute misses for me? I don't even know. I will say this next one I don't hate. And yes, more Sephora. Christ, it never ends. This is the 8-Hour Longwear Colourful Lip Liner. There's 16 shades and you get 1.2 grams of product. I have to say, I don't hate the idea of this. $13, and I have one Sephora lip liner that I got from my gorgeous friend, Chloe Demure. She went out of her way and got me a shade of it. I so appreciate you, Chloe. You're fantastic. These are vegan, gluten-free, cruelty-free, and they come in recyclable packaging. I think that's quite nice. Look, you guys know I'm on a hunt for a particular shade of lip liner. It's a very taupey shade and I just cannot seem to find it. There's part of me that just thinks maybe that's it. Maybe that journey will end, like most of my dreams in tatters. I do think though, good price, you know, $13 for a lip liner. That's not bad, you know? To be fair, I've been totally tricked by the world and how everything is increasing in price, so maybe I'm just losing my mind. But I think this isn't bad at all. There's some shades here that I could be intrigued by, but I think they could also trick me. Like Perfect Beige looks like it might be okay, but again, I've been tricked before, so hard to know. Soft Suede looks kind of pretty. I do appreciate that they've shown it on the lips and the outline of the lips, so it gives you an idea as to how it's going to like interact with your own lip color. Touch of Rose, you can see how it's like the perfect neutral for one of the models. Not bad. And like I said, decent price point. We have Marvelous Mauve, which doesn't feel like it's very mauvey, but like, you know, why mess with alliteration? You don't have to get it to actually match the colour. Rosewood Mood. You know what? On one of the models, it kind of looks like a sort of a shade that I'm interested in, the top right model. But then on the others, it looks far more red. These are the sort of things that I need to swatch and see how it interacts with my skin tone. Fresh Apricot. Grand. I personally wouldn't wear that, but like to each their own. Cinnamon Brown. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. I could be potentially intrigued by that. I'm also like really fecking with myself because I'm like, it's affordable. No, I'm not getting this, by the way. I'm being sensible because I have a pencil case, like a crazy pencil case filled with lip liners. So I literally do not need to buy any more. So just remind me of that. Frappuccino looks grand. I'm not a coffee drinker, but there you go. Frosted Chestnut is very 90s and I personally appreciate that. I also like the shade Muted Brown. Something about that feels very like Nancy from The Craft. Oh, actually no, Molasses this is more that. I like that. I do appreciate the diversity of them. And even the reds are quite nice. Very cherry, does feel very like blue toned leaning. Always red. Again, is that, do they need to have the two of them? They feel quite similar. You know, just saying, as a lover of red. Then plum syrup. That's not bad. It's hard enough to get a shade like that. We then have crushed raspberry. Yeah, that does look very raspberry. And we have berry bang. I like that. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to get all 16 shades. That would be insane. That would be $208, I think. Yes, I think that was correct. Yes, $208. Please be impressed with my fast math. It's all I have. It's all I have. Probably for people who are doing like makeup artistry, it might be really good for their kits. Does look like they're sharpenable. Jesus. By the way, I'm filming and it's currently 10 o'clock at night, so my brain has fallen away like wet pieces of cake. I don't think this is a bad one. Price point is good. I have tried their pencils before, but this is apparently a better formula. It's meant to be more long lasting than the previous one. So I'm not against it. I don't hate it, but I'm sorry. We have more Sephora. I'm so sorry. This is the Blush and Go. That's right. They did another one, another blush thing. The Longwear Matte Liquid Blush for lip and cheek. Literally, lads, fucking pick something. How many lip cheek products have you? There's like 3 or 4 in this one cut. Like, it's totally unnecessary. So they have 6 shades, $16 each, and you get 7 mils in it. Yeah, again, they're saying the same thing. Vegan cruelty. I'm not even gonna fucking say it anymore. I don't care anymore. The shades are fine, but they are very reminiscent of the other things. But as I said before, I have to remember that everyone likes different formulas, so maybe that's why they've done it in that way. Maybe you need to calm down, Teresa, and just not get annoyed about it. I do like that pinky purpley shade, the lilac-y shade. I think that looks beautiful. But when you see them like dotted out on the arm, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. But do they all look a bit similar? And the only thing that's really popping out is like that purple, because it's so uniquely different to everything else. Quite interesting. When you see them on the face, they do look pretty nice. I will say, again, suits some skin tones better than others. The shade On Point looks quite nice on a fair skin tone. It is pulling a little bit ashier on deeper skin tones. And again, I come back to this whole thing of like, who's involved in product development? The shade On The Go, that does look nice. It does. I'm not sitting here being like, oh, they're not pretty. They do look nice. Even the shade On The Bright Side, that looks quite nice. And that does seem to work quite nicely on a deeper skin tone. So well done them. Ooh, the shade On Cloud 9. Yeah, I like that. I do. I think this is what, was it Lancome? No, it wasn't Lancome. Was it Givenchy? I can't even remember. Do you remember the ones who did the really pale, my brain is gone. I can't even think. You know, the ones that did the really pale liquid blushes and they sent them out to influencers like Gloria, and then everyone was like, ah, and they all got really angry. I think this is what they were going for. It's going to come to me later, probably when editing. Editing, Teresa. What is the name of the brand that you're trying to remember? Ah, insert here. I think that's what they were trying to go for there. And actually, it looks nice here. The shade On The Run, that's beautiful. That's really nice. Like I said, like, do they need to come out with all these formulas? Again, I'm probably being a bit whatever. And even On Fire, very nice. Appropriately named. I don't hate these. I just personally don't use liquid blush. Part of that is just I'm super pale, so as soon as I put on a liquid, it's like, whoa, when it goes a little bit clownish. That's my cross to bear. It is Lent, after all. It's grand, decent price. Yeah, grand. I'm so sorry. It never ends. They also came out with a glow makeup setting spray. I am so sorry. This hurts me more than it hurts you. I swear, this is terrible. You get 80 mils for $16. There's vitamin C in it, which they're like, oh, it refreshes the skin and adds radiance. Grand. I don't know what else to say to you guys. I mean, it's a setting spray. It's $16. I mean, it looks grand. Fine. It's not going to change your world. I don't care. I don't know how else to say it. I've found my setting sprays. This one's grand. I don't think they have any weird smells with it. I hope not. I get really weird about that sort of thing. Why do I say I hope not? I'm not going to buy that. But still. Anyways, it's all very strange. That was all the stuff. I hate to say that. That was all the stuff that was on the American website. But I went apparently asking for trouble. And there's stuff that is only on the UK Sephora website. And I gotta say, kind of a little bit more interesting. There's the Colour Twister Glossed Lip Gloss. There's 3 shades, £12.99 each. There's the shade Pink, which is a light fuchsia formulated with pearls that vary between pink and gold for intense radiance. A Blue, which is a sheer gloss infused with blue, purple, pink and white XXL pearls for a refreshingly bold effect. By the way, that's very hard to say today. Silver, a sheer gloss enhanced by blue and silver XXL pearls for a radiant finish. I have to say, that sounds kind of interesting. They do say though, your lips appear plumped up. I hope it's just that they appear plumped up and you're not trying to plump my lips. Don't you dare be trying to do that. It's enriched with watermelon seed oil apparently. I don't hate this. There's something very 2000s about this, all the way down to even the packaging, and the price point of the £12.99 isn't bad. Like I said though, weirdly only over on Sephora UK. I checked the Sephora US site and it's not there, so I don't know what's happening. And by the way, the Sephora UK does not do the best of images. Like Sephora US does really good images, and then Sephora UK are like, you will take what you have and be thankful for it, you peasants. And the pictures that I could get from there are very low resonance or low resolution or whatever the title is. So I apologise. I did what I could, working with the materials that I had. Like I said, it's very 2000s. I don't hate it. I'm not going to get it, but I don't think it's bad. It's grand. I will say this, I'm sorry, this is again on the Sephora UK. This is the 12-hour Colourful Special Effects Multichrome Retractable Eyeliner. You get 0.2 grams, so not a lot, £12.99 each. And there's 4 shades. There's Red Solstice, which goes from red to bronze and orange. There's Green Aurora, from green to blue and turquoise. Astral Pink, which goes from pink to green to golden. And Celestial Blue, from navy blue to plum and purple. And it's apparently meant to have a very creamy formula, and there's a built-in sharpener, which I don't hate. They say that there's a non-stop multichromatic effect, and they did a quote-unquote clinical study, sure, on 22 people. You know my feelings on that. Show me the stat, show me your SPSS file. 12 hours after application, instrumental measurement. What the fuck does that mean? I know stats, I know research, and that means nothing to me. Come on now, lads. Its formula resists water. Same. Unless it has caffeine in it, I don't want it. It also resists humidity. Tell my hair that. And perspiration. Tell my body that. It stays in place without migrating or smudging for maximum colour intensity and impact all day long. Like I said, hard to get decent images, but there's something, I think there's a bit of potential there. There's more obviously options when it comes to multichromes these days, but I mean, it's not a bad one. You know, I don't hate the sound of it, but it's hard to know what each of those actually look like. Very last, thank God, we're almost there, in terms of Sephora, was the Colourful Special Effects Multichrome Liquid Eyeshadow. You get 2 mils of product, they're £15.99, and they have 3 shades up there. There's Supernova Illusion, Cosmic Blue, and Galactic Red. And here's what I find really funny, right? They say that this eyeshadow decorates your eyes with an intense colour that has a breathtaking multi-dimensional finish lasting up to 12 hours. And then they have like a little caveat kind of saying where that comes from, and they said, scientific test on 20 people. So not a clinical one, a scientific one on 20 people. 12 hours after application. Test performed with the Green Paradox shade. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Teresa, I don't remember you saying there was a Green Paradox shade. Yeah, there isn't one. What the fuck? What happened? What happened to the Green Paradox shade? So it's just really funny that they're like, yeah, it has really long wear, but also, and they've no swatches, they've no information, they've just been like, here, look at it in the bottle, you peasants. Come, if you want to see it for yourself, come to the stores, but we will not take pictures of it for you. It looks like it has potential, but honestly, I don't know. And based upon the quote-unquote scientific test, I have my doubts. I have my doubts. But Jesus Christ, that's the Sephora segment. I hate myself. Why was there so much Sephora? But I didn't need to talk about it. I don't need to do anything. But Christ, that was insane. And I'm so sorry. There's more nonsense. This time it's Patrick Ta. And Patrick Ta is now getting into the body care stuff. He has the Major Glow High Shine Skin Perfecting Body Creme for $58. The Major Glow Nourishing High Shine Body Oil for $44. The Major Glow Nourishing Bronzing Body Oil for $52. And the Major Glow Hair and Body Fragrance Mist for $44. Like I know he's been like making everything really expensive, but it's kind of bizarre to just see him go that way. I guess get that bag or whatever. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying like, oh, don't get body care. I use body care. You know, I'm a dry crusty bee. Is that too much information? So I do use like body butters and bits and pieces, but like the day that I would spend $58 on a body cream. Well, I'd probably be very, very rich if I was doing that. And unfortunately, I'm just not at that point. For that $58 for that body cream, you get 220 mils. So I guess there's that. Now, they all tend to have the same scent across this new line. It's a blend of bergamot, jasmine and sandalwood. They say that that's Patrick Ta's signature scent. So is that what he himself smells like? I'd love to know what my signature scent is. Like, what do I smell like without any perfume? Just like my hopes and dreams have been crushed. Whatever that smells like, that's what it would be. This is for normal, dry, combination and oily. I hate when they say that. Like, be specific. Can't be for everyone. Don't be lying to me. There's prickly pear extract, a vegan source of PHA to enhance glow by removing dead skin cells, manula oil, mango seed butter and shea butter to moisturize and smooth the skin, and there's rosemary extract and rice bran oil to provide antioxidant properties and to protect the barrier of the skin. Yeah, like I said, the day that I spend $58 on 220 mils of a body cream, like, and the before and after, like, I'm maybe, sorry, I think I'm just sassy today, so bear with me. I mean, don't get me wrong, her legs are fantastic, beautiful. Now my legs, they could never be like that. I eat too many biscuits for that. But I'd want the after to be a bit more like, wow, you know, if I was spending that much. And also, how much have they put on? Because if I had $58 of a product, I can tell you I would be like dotting that shit on. I'd be like, no, couldn't possibly waste. Too expensive. Like, it's wild. Like, grand, I guess. I just, yeah. And then the body oil, 90 mils for $44. There's meadow foam seed extract for a cushiony serum-like feel and deeply penetrating moisture. Ooh, fair enough. Plant-derived super antioxidant blend with rosemary, rice bran, sunflower and tocopherol to protect the skin, and barrier renewal complex for long-term moisture barrier improvement. I literally have no idea what any of that is. I'm no help to you right now. And again, it's like, hey, it smells the same as the rest. So I guess at least, you know, you're not going to have like competing scents. But there's other brands from, sorry Patrick, from bigger celebrities. You know, like Fenty by Rihanna, Rare Beauty by Selena, who does body care, and it's not that expensive. So I don't know what's happening there. And again, that body oil, I'd need something a bit more dramatic, you know, the before and after. Again, lovely legs. Why am I saying that? Why am I saying this so much in this video? But not enough for me to be like, yeah, I'm gonna spend that amount. Then he was like, we'll have some bronzing oils. And by the way, I love that I just talked about Sephora's bronzing drops. And then we have Patrick Ta's bronzing body oil for $52 for 95 mils. Like, wild to me, wild. I will say, at least he's been a bit more specific here. Skincare concerns, dryness and dullness. Great. There's acai oil and cacao butter. I'm so sorry if I've mispronounced that. I'm tired. For moisture, shine and enhanced skin elasticity. Plant-derived super antioxidant blend with rosemary, rice bran, sunflower and tocopherol. So the same sort of things that were in the previous one. I don't know. I'm not his demographic, and that's totally fine. I will say I got his duos and I liked them. I'm not sure if they necessarily warranted that price, but I'm an idiot and I was like, I, as you guys know, would love to have a makeup brand one day. So I look on these things as like, oh, let's check out the quality. Let's see what these things are like. Would that be worth investing in? So I'm like, okay, grand. But when it comes to this, is that effect worth that money? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm being like a stingy bee, but I couldn't justify it. And then there's the hair and body fragrance mist. Now I will say, I love a good smell. I do. I love a good smell. The fabulous brand Dossier actually sent me some lovely ones. Hope I do need to film about that soon. Maybe you'll have seen it by now. 2 beautiful fragrances, and I love those. And you get like a little bottle, not a little bottle, it's actually quite a good size bottle for €49. And I personally like spending money on fragrances, so this one is probably the one I'm a little bit more into, but I'd love to know how long lasting it is, and they haven't really given any information on that. $44. You get 90 mils, so it's not too bad. This fragrance is a collection of my beauty inspirations bottled up to share with you. That is vague as fuck. Each spritz is effortlessly chic like a red carpet glamour. Tell us nothing. Perfect. The sweetness of warm sugar evokes sweet, intimate moments spent getting ready, while sensual sandalwood captures the feeling of confidence. Yeah, I'm lost. I don't know what any of that means. But then they say like it's bergamot, jasmine and sandalwood, and I like each of those things. Like, I don't know how they combine, but I don't dislike that. If you put a gun to my head and said, Tracy, you have to choose one of those things, it'll probably be the hair and body mist thing, because I like, I feel like I'd use that more and I wouldn't feel as guilty about that, because I do like to splurge a bit on a nice smell. Isn't that funny though? Like, because the body creams and stuff will smell nice, but I'm like, oh no. But I feel like I'd use that quicker. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd run through that. I wouldn't get the same value for money. Whereas like with like a spray, I'd get more uses out of it, as in it should last me longer. Does that make sense? I'm really trying to justify my thing. Anyways, like, he's really trying to diversify what he's doing. And I get he's doing the whole like, I'm a luxury brand, but like, wow. I mean, more power to you, Patrick, but I can't follow you on this one. This one isn't for me. And that's all right. I swear, this is just the video about influencer brands at this point. This is made by Mitchell and he has 2 products out. There's the Curve Case Pressed Palettes. Basically, you know how there was the curve cases? These are pressed powder palettes and there's 5 different shades. They're £30 each. But he's also basically taken a mini curve case. So it's existing shades from the larger curve cases, but in smaller format, which I actually think is kind of smart. They're £22 each. They come with a blush, a bronze and a glow face palette. Let's talk about the Curve Case Pressed Palette. So I was over on his website and he just has pictures of each of them, but there's no swatches. And I get that they're pretty much the same colours as what's in the cream, but I'd like to know, what do these powders actually swatch like? Because like, creams and powders are going to give you different finishes. I'd like to personally know that. Like, they have the lighter, the light, the medium, the deep and the deeper, which he was applauded for having a deeper palette, because not a lot of brands do that. And as much as like his brand sometimes drives me nuts with his overproduction, I will say he did that very well. I'm not going to take from that. I think that was really, really good. I do think that because he comes out with so much, he kind of leaves it to the fans to just go out and get it. And the marketing and the communication about what these things actually look like is somewhat missing. Like, I don't know what any of these would actually translate as, or what they would look like, or what they would swatch as. Am I just meant to assume that it's the exact same as the curve case? Because that's wild. As the cream, like, it couldn't be. They're like, the cream formula is going to give you like a dewy sort of a finish, and even that alone is going to change the shades somewhat. So I do find that quite strange. Now, I will say, I'm not like miffed about them not having the shades for the mini curve cases, because if you went and looked at the larger palettes, you could see that yourself. And I feel like he was very strategic with this and probably went for the shades that people were most likely to pan. I think that was smart. So I remember saying when he came out with the curve cases initially, I was like, you're gonna have to do some refills here. Like, that'd be smart. I do still feel like there's a bit of an issue around waste and recycling, etc. Now, I don't know how to resolve that. I'm not the brain around that. I don't know that sort of thing. I'm not so sure that coming out with more plastic for it is necessarily the thing, but I get where he's coming from with this. I guess that people would just be expected to maybe depot things, which, you know, if you're confident enough in doing that, and I mean, it's a cream-based product, so it's not like, you know, things that get damaged or whatever. It might be the way to do it, and then you could just go and recycle this. Again, he's done the lighter, light, medium, deep and deeper. I think that's pretty good. I do think this is pretty solid. Pretty solid. I don't often talk about Made by Mitchell, because if I did, it would be like every single week, and personally I feel like that's just too much. I haven't tried anything from him in a very long time. Nothing has really caught my fancy. This doesn't either, but I feel like this makes sense for where he's come from and the stuff that's been popular. So you know what? Kudos. Well done him. It makes sense. Then we have a brand I haven't heard from for forever. This is Benefit Cosmetics, and this is their Hoola Wave Cream Bronzer Balm. How strange. And there's 5 shades. I know, 5 apparently different shades, even though 3 of them look exactly the same. 9 grams, $36. Shade range, absolute trash. There's jojoba oil, jojoba seed oil, shea butter and avocado oil, and there's bamboo cellulose flour, which apparently helps skin feel soft and smooth. Benefit. What are you doing? They did a cream bronzer and I mean years ago. I remember it was in a stick, a Hoola bronzer. Oh, and it was pre-COVID. It would have been about 2018. So we're talking about 7 years ago. And I know there was some issues with that. I think it kept falling out of its component or whatever. And it just went away. It went away. And now they've come back, but they've put it, I will say, packaging is much better. Yes, I'll give them that. Not bad. However, inclusivity, where are we? What? Is that really the deepest shade? Well, come on now. Don't be foolish. That's so stupid. good. And they've optimistically said light, original, medium, medium deep and deep. Now, come on. And to be fair, do you remember with their actual Hoola bronzers, it took them years to come out with deeper shades for that as well. It also took them ages to come out with like the Hoola light as well. They've been terrible when it comes to inclusion of shade ranges. And again, this is a bigger company, so I don't know why they struggle with this. I'm like, you have the money. What you doing with it? Presumably not putting it into product development. Thing is, I have some things from Benefit that I like. I quite like a few of their blushes, etc. But I feel like Benefit overall is kind of dated. They're not moving with the times. The packaging looks great. I will give them that. I feel like they've done pretty well with that. But they need to move with the times and actually bring in some diversity. It's wild. Why am I saying this? Why is this the second time that I'm saying this about a different brand in the same episode? And again, coming from somebody who is this shade of white, like, it's insane. I don't understand why we're still having to have that conversation. I'm stressed out unnecessarily. But it's so silly. I truly don't get it. It could be the best formula. It could be fantastic. But it's not accessible for a bunch of people, and as such, I just think it's foolish. So let's move on with our lives. We then have Rare Beauty, and this is their Soft Pinch Matte Bouncy Blush. And I saw people actually messing with this, and you can actually put your finger into it and like it makes an imprint and like bounces back, which is kind of weird, but I want to squish my finger into it. I don't know if I would enjoy the sensation, but I want to do it anyway, so let's just not question that too much. There's 7 shades. You get 6.4 grams of product in that. It's available over on Sephora right now. It's $27 for 6.4 grams, which I feel like isn't too bad. Now, Rare Beauty have been very kind of upfront and transparent about any sort of changes that have come to their pricing, etc. So I've personally appreciated that. I both fear this and also love it, because we've all had that experience either firsthand or we've seen other people with it, with the liquid blushes and the level of pigment in it, and I'm like, is this going to be the same thing? That frightens me, but also seems like a lot of fun. This bouncy buildable formula has a putty-like texture. This is what I'm like, I can't figure out if I'm gonna like that or not, because like I said, the sensory thing, I don't know. I could end up like being really obsessed with that in a good way, but also really obsessed with it in a bad way. It blends like cream and blurs like powder. That sounds interesting. It gives cheeks an airy cloud-like flush with a smooth, weightless matte finish that won't settle, emphasize texture or dry out your skin. It's water, sweat and humidity resistant and won't transfer or smudge. I like the sound of this, and I feel like $27, that's maybe, again, I'm losing my mind, but I feel like that is not a bad price. The shades look pretty. I mean, again, they're kind of all tonally similar, but they're kind of derived from her existing ones, so I suspect she's probably gone with the kind of biggest selling blushes from her brand to date, and then just kind of gone, okay, I'm gonna put these out first, see how they go, see what the feedback is, and then maybe from there reformulate if necessary. Maybe I'm just like being whatever, but I suspect she'd probably do something like that. Like the shade Hope, that it was such, like the shade Hope, that was such a popular shade, so I'm not wildly surprised to see that that is in here. I think I have that one. I'm 99.9. I definitely have the shade Happy, which is the next one, and I do like the look of that. I do. I think it looks really, really pretty. Now, I know that she's saying it doesn't show texture or whatever. Could you please show me this on people who have texture on their skin? Because your models, they're beautiful. Now, I will say, a few of them you can see they have, you know, some lines under their eyes. I appreciate that. Let's not photo retouch, but quite a few of them are quite young. So maybe just greater diversity of models would be nice to showcase, you know, what it's like. The shade Warmth, that looks gorgeous, really, really beautiful. Seems like a really nice range of blushes here. Even the shade Grateful, yeah, I like a lot of these. I'm obsessed with the shade Truth. It looks so beautiful on a deeper skin tone. Kind of it's the same sort of tone that I was talking about with Sephora earlier. Like, I just think it's gorgeous. The shade Thriving, absolutely stunning. They are showing though, like you can kind of blend it out and you can build it up, and it does look quite nice. The last shade then that they have is Alive, which is a nice orange. Not that many oranges. Do you remember when orange was like a really big thing? I still have like a bit of a love of an orange blush, but it's not as popular as it once was. All in all, I like this. I think the brand is doing pretty darn good. I will say I'd love to see them come out with some more highlighters, but I'm just being a bit whatever about that. Yeah, I like the brand. I think they're pretty straightforward. I like their communication style. I like their ethos. It all kind of meshes pretty well with me. So you know what? Don't hate it. Then we have Fenty Beauty, and when in doubt, just come out with some more lip glosses. This is the Gloss Bomb Oil Luminizing Lip Oil and Gloss, and basically it's them celebrating the fact that they have, believe it or not, been around for 10 years. Isn't that amazing? That's amazing. I mean, fair play. What an amazing 10 years it's been. I mean, they really did change the industry. So you have 7 shades that have a shimmer finish, and then there's 2 that have a high shine finish, and it was a little bit confusing because one of the shades, it's called, oh god, what is it called? It's something like hot buns or something strange, like frosted buns. That's the one, frosted buns. And that's in the high shine, but it's also in the shimmer. So it's super confusing. So there's 9 shades in all, 9 mils, $26. Look, they do a good gloss. Let's be real. They do. I mean, I think it's a bit lazy of them to keep doing glosses, but I mean, that's between you and I. It looks fine. Do I think that they needed every single shade? No. I'm going to be honest with you. I think that for a 10-year anniversary, they could have just done 1 special shade, 2 maybe. And there's 2 in particular that I think are really interesting. And it's the first 2 I'm going to show you. Miss Jellyfish. I think that's beautiful. A sparkling icy lilac. That's gorgeous. And also reminds me a little bit of their gloss bomb stick that they did recently. Was it the amethyst one? And I also like the shade Raspberry Jams. I also want jam now. Specifically a jam donut. So not very healthy, but there you go. The rest of them are fine. Like we have Superfine Sugar. It's grand. I'm 99.9% certain they have shades like all of these before. There's Fenty Glow, which is a sparkling rose nude. Again, it's grand. Quite like the shade Rose Amber. You don't see many things like that, particularly like a sparkling cool taupe brown. So you know what? I'm going to put that in the mix too. I don't dislike that. They are pricey though, $26. Like it does all add up. Frosted Buns. Do you see what I mean? This is one that it comes in the high shine, but also in the high shimmer. So you're looking at the high shimmer one. It's nice. Like it's grand. Then there's Fussy. I mean, she's done that a million times before. And then these are the 2 high shine ones that I'm showing you right now. It's grand. Do you know? I mean, what else can be said about it? Fairly safe, fairly calculated. It's grand. Personally, I wouldn't be getting any of it because I have more than enough lip glosses. I would have liked to have seen her actually push the boat out a little bit further. Maybe come back with, remember that spice palette that she had, but come out with that, with a better formula. Because she hasn't done an eyeshadow palette in a million years. And I'd like to see her come back to that because she really struggled with it. Maybe that's just me, but yeah. Then we have Beauty Creations, and this is their Barbie collection, and it's available right now. There's the Hello World Multi-Use Shadow Palette for $16. PH lip oils, $8 each. There's 2 of them, believe it or not. And then there's just normal lip oils, which are $8 each, and they're apparently strawberry scented. And the PH lip oils, by the way, are lychee scented. There's the Born to Lead Blush Trio for $14. The Gotta Glow Body Oil for $10. Malibu Way Setting Mist for $12. The Future is Bright Pink Setting Powder for $10. Me and My BFF's 5-piece sponge set for $12. The Sunny and Stylish Lip Balm Keychain for $8. Cruisin' in Cali Riding Solo Single Shadows. They're $6 each, or you can get the 3 together in a set for $18, which saves you nothing. But also, if you wanted to have the blue shimmer one, Malibu Sunset, you can't get that by itself. So, a bit strange. California Dream and Body Lotion and Mist set, $14. And the One of a Kind collection set for $95, which I don't think actually includes everything, but there you go. It's available right now. Let's talk about that eyeshadow palette. Oh my god, it is pale AF. Where's the saturation? I can't, it blends into the skin and not in a good way. Not like that. It's so pale. Oh man, like I get that they're like, yeah, you can use this as highlighter as well, which is grand. This is sad. I love, you know, she's all dressed up and she has like the feathers. That looks so cute. That's really Barbie. And then you look at the palette and you're like, oh, I feel like they've missed a trick. It's not Barbie. Even the shadows, they look so lackluster. I don't even know what to say, like the single shadows. Wow, just very meh. On the eye, they look quite nice, I will say that. Like I think that they're going for a little bit of like an Urban Decay moon dust kind of thing. Like it's grand. I do think that the trio, the highlighter, the blush, etc., I know exactly what they're doing here. Like One Size are doing it, Sephora are doing it. Not a bad one. I don't hate it, but look at how pale it looks. wow, like that's wild. And even the setting powder, that is looking like it's a very pale pink. I would have liked to have seen much more diversity in this collection because, I mean, Barbie's for everyone. Will I even get started on the pH lip oils? I fucking hate them. By the way, when you see the swatches, 1 and 2 are just the normal lip oils and 3 and 4 are the pH lip oils. And as we all know, pH lip oils all go pink because everyone's pH is exactly the same unless you're dead or something like that. I don't know. I think they look terrible. That's the only thing I can say. They don't look nice. They don't look flattering. Then the normal lip oils, they're grand. Like, they've shown the shade Dreamer and it looks more interesting, kind of swatched out than on the lip. It looks really meh. Yeah, I don't know how to say it. I don't care. I think that it's very, very dull. And obviously then they have things like the setting spray, the body stuff, the body glow, the body oil. You know what? Go for this instead of the Patrick Tat. I'm such a bee. Similar packaging. No, not even similar packaging, but like, yeah, I don't know. They're doing a lot of collabs, so I guess it's working for them. And then the little keychain with the lip balm. I guess you can put the lip balm into the keychain, but then you'll eventually run out of the lip balm. So what are you going to do? It's a jelly lip balm as well, so you know my feelings on that. And then the sponges. Who cares? Who cares? I feel like this is an insult to Barbie. This is so un-Barbie. I'm not even like a massive Barbie person. I played with Barbie. I enjoyed Barbie, but I'm not like, oh my god, I love Barbie. But where's your hot pinks? Where's the fun? Where's the joy? Where's the glitter? Like, it's very safe. We then have Glamlite and Breaking Dawn part 1, which is terrifying, so it means there's more, and it isn't available as I'm filming, but it will be available as you're watching. There's the part 1 bag, $40, the Team Edward palette, $35, and the Team Jacob palette, also $35. I bet Robert Pattinson hates that his face is on that because he does not like any association with that. The Cullen lip kit for $22, and again his face is on the lipstick. It's so embarrassing. The Breaking Dawn part 1 mirror for $26, the wedding highlighter for $15, the vampire skin spray, which is glittery, for $18, and there's a keepsake PR box, yeah, which is $169. Anyways, whatever, let's get into the first palette, the Edward palette. Oh my god, I would be mortified if I was Robert Pattinson and my face was attached to that. Like, it's a nice enough palette, but it's exactly the same as so many of their palettes before. It does look like they have a slight duochrome shade in there. It's grand. Like, it's fine. Do you know what I mean? The the Jacob palette, you know what, I don't think it's a bad one, but it's reminding me a lot of their horror palettes to date. And also part of why I'm rushing is that my battery is running low, so in case you're like, why is she going so fast, that's why. And also I don't care, so there you go. Yeah, I will say, and I want to talk about the highlighter for a second because I think it's the fucking funniest thing I've ever seen in my entire life, because when you zoom into it, it looks like it says PDO. And I know it's meant to be I do, but I feel the PDO is a little bit more correct. The lipstick is embarrassing. It has his face on it. Can you imagine being a grown person and just walking around with that? And then the rest of it is all just a bit cringy. Like, I don't know. I'm not like a Twilight fan, so like, you know, I will appreciate some of the colour stories, but I personally don't get it, and I'm not really into Glamlite these days. I think there's a couple of issues there. So whatever. The last thing we're talking about is Wicked Widow Beauty, and this is the first sneak peek from their American Psycho collection, and I was wondering what they were going to do. This is looking really cool. They have some lipsticks. They're in the shades Murder, Psycho and Rockin' and a Rollin'. I was wondering how this would all come together, and I'm looking at this and I can see it. Like, outside of the packaging, I get it. I get what is happening here. I can't wait to see what else is happening here because I feel like this is such a good sneak peek. Like, it's top tier, really, really good. But my gorgeous friends, that's it. There was way too much this week. Never let me talk about Sephora again. That was way too much. I do have my favorite comment. This is from the lovely Sue. I love her. She does so much research when it comes to makeup and she lets me know information. She said, Gloss Gods confirmed that Dancing Lights is free from CI 45410, Reg 27 or Reg 28. So if you're allergic to it like myself, this palette is fine to use, because I know a few people were saying that that palette looked a lot like the Architude Cosmetics Metamorph palette, which I agree with, but it had those particular ingredients in it. So in case anyone has other allergies, Dancing Lights only use pigments iron oxides, yellow, red and black, CI 77492, CI 77491 and CI 77499, as well as titanium dioxide, blue 1, yellow 5 and chromium hydroxide green. Hope this helps. I actually pinned that comment because I thought it was so useful. Sue, you are fantastic. I love you so much. You are the absolute best. But my gorgeous friends, that is it. I have left you on a longer episode than usual to like round things off. Like I said, I'm not going to be around for the next 2 weekends. I'll be in Dublin for a national conference. I'm speaking at that, and then I'm in Belgium giving a keynote at an international conference. So I'm just not around. Jobs 1 and 2 have to take precedence over my own life. But my gorgeous friends, that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Do please like, comment and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell, and do please share, because sharing is caring, except of course for STDs, in which case just wrap it up. Don't be gross. But that's it. That's the end of the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.